it wasn't just a random person doing this on their own. You
Mm.
can tell by the way. I mean, there's a cop that said like there's already a cop that says that he went up to approach the person, and then the person threw like drew their or pointed their rifle at him, and then he left.
Mm.
Like there's the Secret Service people like stopping long enough for Trump to do his like little shouts and fist pumps. Like their only job is to get the president down and covered and out of there as quickly as humanly possible. As they're like that is number one. Like day one, what's your job? Take a bullet for the fucking president. Like that's your whole job in that role. So the way that they handled that all makes it feel like they knew it was staged or they knew it was clear already completely, which is you know what I mean? Like there's no way that they would do that in
Wait,
an
wait,
actual
come again.
simulation.
Who do you think thought it was staged? Like we talking about the security details, some of the personnel. You think the way they reacted
Yeah.
to things, you think it was staged? In what way? Maybe I missed that.
The,
How do you?
the Secret Service folks either like they did not feel like there was any danger or they had been told to let him stay in danger. There's no way like it doesn't make any sense and it goes against all their training the way that they let him stop and like stand up and put his head he's back out in
Oh,
view
gotcha.
again.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
their whole thing is to get on like they pick them up by their legs and their belt
yeah.
and like they carry them out like they take their legs out from under them, they carry them out wrapped in bodies like to make sure that nothing happens. They do not let them stand up and raise their fist and go fight
Okay.
fight like that is staged with the flag behind it. Like the photo, it was literally a photo opportunity they were stopping for. So that makes the whole thing very questionable to me. Like just that alone is like, well, wait a second. That
Okay.
Secret Service would never do that.
All right. I find this very interesting. I actually wanted to get into this because I've heard a lot of different thoughts on some people thinking it was staged, some people thinking it was an inside job. Uh, you mentioned what would have happened, obviously, if this was an assassination attempt. Whereas there's always going to be conspiratorial ideas around any massive event, right? Particularly with AI in this day and age. I think if it was an assassination attempt, we would have had like JFK level conspiracy theories all over again, right? Because there's so many elements to this. I actually wanted to break down why I think it, at the very least, it was an inside job, and I think there are certain elements, but I don't know for certain. I've only been delving into this for a few days, like I presume most of us have, unless of course we work in this area, right? But one thing you said, which was that it's staged, right, in terms of the security detail, how they behaved and so forth. From what I understand, in fact, it might be worthwhile watching the video. I'll bring it up in a sec. But the threat had been neutralized at a point, right? So from what I understand, the shooter got a few shots out, right? And this is when you see Donald Trump kind of reacting, and you can say what you want, but there is no way I believe that Donald Trump is going to be in on wanting to potentially get assassinated. Like the idea of, I have to assume based on motive that regardless of how crazy you may think he is, he doesn't want to risk being dead. Granted, legacy is important for someone at that age, I think. I don't think it would make sense for a sane or even rationally insane person on any level to want to risk having someone fire a shot at him, right? Just to get more support when I think it was obvious that Donald Trump was looking like he was going to win the elections. Obviously, I'm speaking like he's won, but I think realistically, it looks like he's going to win. But in terms of how Trump reacted and how the security detail reacted, from what I understand, and this is just based on the knowledge that I've acquired over the last few days, listening to experts, when you have an actual standing president, the level of security is a lot more. When you were having former presidents, it's obviously going to be a lot less. And the other point is that most of the security details, I mean, they're not going to be as adequately trained as you think, because it's an area where they're constantly dealing with a high fallout rate. A lot of people don't stay very long in that particular area of work. It's very understaffed, and as a result, you have people that are not on the highest level of training. I mean, if you have a look at the video, but I don't want to say misogynistic, but you had some women there, acting as security details, and I'm thinking, I mean, if this is anything like the Navy SEALs, there are no women, because the requirements that are necessary for someone to be in that position are the highest level. And then I found out that they've made some new policy where 30% of people are going to be within like fit certain categories. For instance, they're going to be women and so forth. So in terms of having the level of professionalism that would normally uh, facilitate that kind of environment, it was not present. And I just find it very hard to believe Trump, being the person that he is willing to risk an assassination attempt like that. But on the other side, I will say this: the fact that this person was able to get to the building, because from what I understand, before a president or even a former president appears at any site to give a speech, the security detail they check this place out a few days beforehand, make sure that it's totally clear, and then they make sure that any kind of access is fully checked. They make sure that you can't come in there unless, of course, you are cleared and so forth. And even when you are, they have all kinds of screening measures to detect whether or not you are a threat, you are armed and so forth. That being said, we know just based on the recent history of America that assassination attempts do happen. They are possible. There is no level of technology that is going to be 100% perfect. So it is possible that someone could execute an assassination regardless of what level of security. But I'm inclined to think that it was unlikely that happened without some kind of like what you're saying, with certain personnel not being willing to, like, we know that one of the security details, the guy that was actually about to fire the gunman,
Right.
did not fire until like he waited. He had his eyes on the gunman for a number of minutes before he fired. But that being said, he was taking orders from someone else. But it seems very
Right.
suspect